Hello Every Nation family, I'm Celeste Vaal and I'll bring you a short devotional today. Now, I was recently challenged and inspired by this key scripture that I'm going to be reading to you shortly. But just before I get into the scripture, just a little bit of context. I'm going to be reading out of John 6, but in John 5, which precedes this scripture I'm going to be reading, we had the multiplication of 5 loaves and 2 fish, where Jesus fed over 5,000 men, and not even including the children and women. So I'm going to read now from John 6, where the people are coming again to Jesus the next day, and Jesus answers these people which come to him. Most assuredly, I say to you, you seek me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate of the loaves and were filled. Do not labor for food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him. And then Jesus continues in verse 32, most assuredly I say to you, Moses did not give you the bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. Now the people were asking for another sign, another miracle, hopefully multiplication of food again. And they said, this is going to be the sign, just as God provided for the Israelites in the desert, the manna, are you going to provide for us again? And then obviously these were the words that Jesus spoke to them. And I was challenged by this because recently and still currently we're going through a time when we've got a lot of needs that I'm asking God of, physical needs, financial needs, like I'm sure a lot of you in these current circumstances. And it's not wrong coming to God, asking him for our daily bread, our daily manna, our daily provisions. And he is Jehovah Jireh. But I was challenged by this in what Jesus said to them next. In verse 35, Jesus said, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. And he repeats the saying, I am the bread of life, and I am the living bread, in verse 38 and verse 51. And I was challenged in the sense that I felt God saying to me, and maybe saying to you as well, he's not just here for our physical needs. He's not just the one that provides our daily manna, but he's also here to provide a far deeper need that we have within our souls and within our spirits. And that's what we also need to be feeding, because he is the bread of life, and he's inviting us, and he definitely invited me to say, come to him as the living bread, the bread of life, which will truly satisfy our souls in abundance. And this is where the invitation part comes in, and it's so beautiful because it reminds me of the scripture also when Jesus was tempted in the desert with Satan, and when he replied, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. And he was quoting from Deuteronomy 8 verse 3. So Jesus is that living bread, that bread that satisfies that deeper hunger than even mere physical needs that we may have. So what a beautiful invitation to us today. And I'm going to end off with just a little bit from Isaiah 55 verse 2, which says, why do you spend money for what is not bread, and your wages for what does not satisfy? Listen carefully to me and eat what is good, and let your soul delight itself in the abundance. So as we are challenged in these times, yes, let's bring this to Jesus, but let's also come to him as the living bread, the word that became flesh to us, and let us truly be satisfied by him, that can truly satisfy the deepest part of our souls that nothing else will ever be able to satisfy. Thank you, family.